Rodolphe Kreutzer, Etude number 11. With this etude, I have so much fun. You cannot imagine. I practice it like up and down and chords and double stops and staccato and then slurring. You can use everything what we did until now. You can use on this etude. But the most important is, of course, the intonation. First of all, there is one very interesting thing to know. In the first edition, Kreutzer uses dots after the slur. On these two notes, he has dots. In the second edition, he has wedges on these two notes. And in some other editions in our century, I don't see any dots, any wedges, anything, no accents. So what can this mean when we have two dots or two wedges after the slur? Don't you think that it means that we need to articulate very, very much these two notes? How is if I don't articulate, and how is if I articulate? Or with articulation? I think that the conclusio is that after a slur, you need double articulation with little accents maybe, or with little spooning, with little extra pressure of the dot finger. Otherwise, we cannot hear the notes himself. The second advice, what I want to ask you, make fun and practice chords. Something like this. Or if you want, you can do longer. Real chords. Very important. If you practice chords, you need to grab the chord together. Then you can make a variation of the rhythm. Or a dotted rhythm, or whatever you like, but make fun. It's a very fun piece. Intonation, you have to practice double stops, first two, and then the second two. If this fifth is not working, then you have to adjust a little bit the form of your first finger. The most important thing is that this is the grab is always in one line. You can try that way, on the side, a little bit turning, and then you will have a very good fifth. Then you place the second finger on the A string. Now let's talk a little bit about the right hand, because the bow division is very important in this piece. We divide the bow to two halves, the lower half and the upper half. And I need to know exactly where do I play the slur and where do I play the little notes. I can start only half bow. I start in the middle of the bow. And now a quarter of the bow. Then again a half of the bow. But I can also do, of course, the whole bow. It means that the first note is the first half, second note, second half. Then, of course, the little 16 notes should be all of them with a half bow. You can reduce the amount of the bow. You can reduce the hair of the bow, because here is no dynamic written. He wrote moderato. It means that the rhythm is, the tempo is not so fast. It's a moderate tempo. This etude is also very, very long. That's why I would suggest to you not to practice the whole etude the same time. Let's say we practice the first day until bar 12, and then you practice until bar 22, and so on. Otherwise, you get a little bit tired of the chords. How much vibrato should I use on the notes? Which notes do you want to play extraordinary beautiful in this etude? I would say that if you phrase from the first chord downwards, then I would vibrate the first C sharp, for example, more, and then always less and less and less. There is also one more exercise what I would suggest to practice, the arpeggio over the strings with one sounding point. The sounding point is extraordinarily difficult to hold in this etude, but you should try. How can we try to keep the sounding point in staccato exercises? And then you just learn. If I make a string cross downwards, I do the downwards string crossing with a little pressure on the dot finger. If I do it upwards, then I try to feel that I'm spooning into the string. It means my thumb goes upwards, my dot finger downwards, and through this little turning downwards, I spoon out of my violin. How should I phrase? Practice in chords, and then you will hear exactly which chord has the emphasizing and which chord should step back.